perspective in rheumatology, there's the American Rheumatology Association puts out primary rheumatology, or primary rheumatic diseases. And so that's the same thing that textbook, rheumatic disease, summary of each of the rheumatic diseases in that book. So you might like that. Besides that, I think I told you about a couple of resources that are available. You can look at the American Rheumatology, Rheumatology. And you see that this high impact oncology curriculum is a series of PowerPoints on basically the core stuff that they want in general with medical students, PA, small doctor oncology. So you see they talk about the big ones, rheumatoid arthritis, low back pain, gout, multi-system inflammatory disease, and then techniques that are associated with the practice. And that's where you take a look at your research about stuff that's going to be on the field and stuff like that. That's something I'm going to take a look at. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. I'm going to go through the chapter 3.1. I'm going to highlight some of the stuff that I think is particularly important, maybe add a few things. Again, rheumatology is going to concern diseases of the joints and associated diseases, generally autoimmune diseases, autoimmune, some of the signs and symptoms of rheumatic disease are listed in figure 8.1 on page 164. So besides each of the features that are specific to each particular rheumatic disease, some of the other things that you can see is patients that have rheumatic disease, fever, malaise, and then in terms of again, there are specific markers may be associated with each of the rheumatic diseases, but you can see general abnormalities, including an elevation of the citrate, elevation of the reactive protein. Those are sort of non-specific markers of inflammation. We talked about some other things. When we talked about hematology, what was another non-specific marker of inflammation? I think that complicated the assessment of iron deficiency anemia. Do you remember? It goes up in inflammation, and it goes down in iron deficiency. Everybody remember? It's important to remember. Huh? Yeah, what goes up? What goes up in inflammation? Then we talked about a lot of things go up in inflammation. So what I'm saying is what goes up in inflammation, and when it goes up, it complicates the diagnosis of iron deficiency anemia. But if you suspect iron deficiency anemia, first thing you order is Ferritin is a marker of inflammation, so it's going to be elevated in inflammatory state, but it is the hallmark of iron deficiency. When iron goes down, total antibody capacity goes up, the ferritin goes down. So if it's an inflammatory, if the patient has a coexisting inflammatory condition, that's going to complicate the diagnosis of iron deficiency. And so it's important to remember, keep that in mind. It's important, again, the advantage of having a textbook like this is not encyclopedic, is that it allows you more time to find important connections between the different areas. Okay, so I want you to be doing that. I want you to be thinking about that. Okay, let's talk about the first thing that they talk about before they talk about. Actually, I guess we should talk briefly about table 8.1 since they allude to it. Okay, so they talk about Behçet syndrome, Behçet disease, which is a vasculitis. Remember when we talked about cardiovascular diseases? We talked about the vasculitides, and we talked about large vessel vasculitides, medium vessel vasculitides, small vessel vasculitides. So Behçet syndrome, Behçet disease, is a vasculitis as well. You see some of the features that are associated with it, including oral and genital ulcers and inflammation of the eye. And again, just trying to put that into the context of what we learned about in cardiology module. Dermatomyositis is an autoimmune inflammatory rheumatic disease, which, as the name implies, involves the skin and the muscles, and patients can develop a heliotrope rash. Okay, so here's the heliotrope rash, which is involving the eyes. Okay, and it can also develop Godson papules, and here's the heliotrope rash. Okay, and here's the Godson papules. Here's the knuckles. And you see that it can be associated with disease outside of the skin, and they develop inflammation of the muscles as well. So dermatomyositis is like polymyositis, but it's got the skin involved as well. These patients can also develop restrictive lung disease. They can develop a restrictive cardiomyopathy. They can develop GI disease. You see that there are some serological markers that are specific to dermatomyositis. I don't think it's important that you memorize them for the purposes of the test. I think it's important that you know that there are specific markers for a lot of these rheumatic diseases. A lot of them. There are specific markers that you can look for. I think if you remember that, you can always look up the markers. Okay? Just understand that there's a marker for a lot of these diseases that is relatively specific. Polymyositis, again, is going to be a cousin to the autoimmune inflammatory rheumatic disease. Just like patients with dermatomyositis, they can develop inflammation of the muscles, proximal muscle weakness, so shoulder girdle weakness, hip girdle weakness, difficulty getting out of the chair without using their arms, things like that. But again, and they have the extra muscular manifestations, additional features of the disease, as you saw with dermatomyositis, including lung disease, restrictive lung disease, restrictive cardiomyopathy, etc. They don't get the dermatomyositis, they don't get the skin manifestation. Okay, dermatomyositis is also associated with the propensity for malignancy. I don't think polymyositis. I got to double check that. Sarcoidosis, which is a granulomatous disease, is often because of the involvement of the joints and because of the multi-systemic nature of the disease, it's often dealt with by rheumatologists. Okay, so it's treated with steroids, so it fits into the wheelhouse of the rheumatologist. We talked about sarcoidosis when we talked about restrictive cardiomyopathy. We talked about sarcoidosis when we talked about lung disease. Maybe we can call it restrictive lung disease. But again, it can be associated with disease of the eyes and skin and joint disease. Let me show you some of the rashes that we get with sarcoidosis. We talked about erythema nodosum. Remember, you said you get erythema nodosum in these patients. We get also other types of rashes, weird types of rashes as well. Okay, so there's a patient that has sarcoidosis as well. Skin. Again, I'm not sure that if somebody showed you this patient and told you nothing else about the patient, I don't know, got a rash, okay? I wouldn't say, sarcoidosis, maybe it's dermatologist, I don't know. But the thing is, if you have somebody that has pulmonary disease, especially if they have, pulmonary adenopathy, okay, maybe they have parenteral lung disease as well. They happen to have the diastolic dysfunction or the cardiomyopathy in association with this, then maybe you're going to think, well, could be sarcoidosis, should be on my differential diagnosis. Okay. Scleroderma is another autoimmune inflammatory rheumatic disease that we talked about. We talked about it in the context of dysphagia. Remember, we talked about dysphagia, and we talked about the esophageal dysmotility that these people get. And remember, it is a neuromuscular dysphagia, progressive neuromuscular dysphagia. It's associated, besides with the esophageal motility, it can be associated with Raynaud's phenomenon, with calcinosis, sclerodactyly, and cholangioplasia, the so-called Crest syndrome. Right? Again, there are markers, serological markers that are relatively specific for it. Sjogren's syndrome is also referred to as keratoconjunctivitis pica. Keratoconjunctivitis pica. And that refers to the fact that these patients get dry eyes and dry mouth. Also, if they happen to be female, okay, they can be prone to the development of vaginal dryness, premature vaginal dryness. If you expect to see, let's say, with atopic vaginitis, or you can see somebody that's younger, and that's a reflection of the fact that of the process that produces the dryness of the mucosa. The dry eyes, dry mouth, the female dry mucosa, the dry vaginal mucosa. They're also prone to the development of disease apart from the mucosa, so you see that they can develop restrictive lung disease, and they are at risk for the development of lymphoma, which is why Sjogren's syndrome, one of the reasons Sjogren's syndrome making the diagnosis matters, because they're at higher risk of developing lymphoma. And then finally, lupus, or systemic lupus erythematosus, which is associated with the presence of the so-called butterfly or malar rash. Malar rash looks sort of like a butterfly. Okay. And one of the things that this book doesn't do well, but probably the work manual, you find that in the work manual, it's so important, I guess, for clinical that it is pathophysiological, and certainly in the primer, is that there are diagnostic criteria, American Rheumatology Association criteria for the diagnosing all of these diseases. Okay, and so if you look at say, some of these up to more criteria since 1997, a long time ago. Let's see if this is up to date. Criteria for the classification of systemic erythematosus. So you see what it says here. If one of these criteria are present at any time during disease, the diagnosis of systemic can be made with 98% specificity and 97% sensitivity. And so the presence of a malar rash, of the discoid rash, for that. The second, total sensitivity. So exposure to the sun causes the rash, but sometimes exposure to the sun doesn't cause the rash, because of the disease. The presence of oral ulcers, okay? And think about what else do you think about in a patient that has oral ulcers that we talked about in this class. Okay? Well, just today we talked about the chest syndrome, right? And you remember that Crohn's disease can cause oral ulcers as well, right? Remember that? Anywhere from you should have to think about inflammation of the serosal surfaces. So pruritus, pericarditis, peritonitis, okay? Renal disorders, so maybe proteinuria, study of the fat, neurological disorders, the seizure literally has cause to psychosis without having cause. So they're talking about not just any neurological disease, but CNS disease, okay? Because it's a immunological disease, so immunological anemia, lupus is anti-polycythemia, or leukemia, so we use leukemia, some places. The presence of anti-double-stranded DNA, anti-SNP, DNA, anti-phospholipids, antibodies, and anti-nuclear antibodies, that's all type of DNA, right? So again, if you get through these things, and again, you don't have to memorize these things. You just should know that the criteria exist so that you can look them up in a basis that you suspected, and then you can go through the list, okay? And again, you don't have to memorize this stuff, but it does help, for example, if you're doing a physical exam, or you're taking history annotation, if you can recall some of the features of the history that you want to ask about, so that you don't have to go back and have to take and have to look it up, and so that you can look at these things, you know, physical diagnosis, and say, well, there were no hormones, or there was no halo rash, okay? So all right. So the next thing that they talk about is the treatment of the obesity, sort of jump the gun, but we'll follow their logic. And they point out that the drugs that are involved are generally aimed at inhibiting the immune system because of the nature of somatic diseases. And they point out that they can do this by a couple of different mechanisms. So the first mechanism that they mentioned is cytotoxication, the death of the inflammatory cells. And the one that they mentioned there is methotrexate. And methotrexate is used in inflammatory bowel diseases. It's used in sarcoidosis in patients that have progressive lung disease who don't respond to steroids or steroid-sparing effect. It's also used in cancer chemotherapy. That's what it's originally used. And it works by inhibiting folic acid pathway. The second class of agents work by preventing the secretion of inflammatory cytokines. And so the example that they give is cyclosporin, which inhibits T lymphocytes from secreting interleukins and lymphokines. And lymphokines are cytokines that attack macrophages. So you remember that the phagocytic cells are going to be the macrophages and the monocytes, right? The same cell. So the macrophages have neutrophils. So if you inhibit the lymphocytes, you're not going to attack the macrophages in the area of inflammation. Third category inhibits the cytokine synthesis, and that includes NSAID. And then finally, this is a very important category nowadays, is that category of agents that work by blocking cytokines, including the two resources factors, antibodies. Two resources factors is involved in inflammation, so that's, that'll be good enough. And an example of a drug or drug that acts by blocking cytokines would be some of the agents that you see on TV nowadays. So, for example, infliximab or Remicade, which is a monoclonal antibody. Then there's adalimumab, ADALIMUMAB, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Humira, HUMIRA, and that's the same as also monoclonal antibody. L-E-N-D-R-E-L, which is a circulating receptor. They talk about the difference between the COX-1 and the COX-2 enzyme. We talked about that in GI tract, the airway tract. COX-2 inhibitors have fewer GI side effects and fairly constitutional enzyme. They work on the enzyme that's more active in inflammation. These commercials now are everywhere. There's the one about the one with the golf club. Yeah, so with and then there's that one with that model, with the psoriasis, line. All right, so let's talk about joint. They talk about joint disease, and they talk about the arthritis. Okay. And arthritis basically, again, arthritis, the term means inflammation. Okay. And so most of the time, rheumatic diseases are going to be inflammatory, but not all rheumatic diseases are predominantly inflammatory. Osteoarthritis has a component of inflammation too, but it's minor compared to the wear and tear of the wear and tear component of it. So I guess the more general term would be arthropathy diseases. Arthritis is the most common inflammation, and the signs and symptoms of inflammation are going to include pain in the joints. They can have stiffness in the joints. They can have palpation. They can have physical swelling. And they divide their discussion of the arthritis into inflammatory and non-inflammatory arthritis. They point out that the inflammatory arthritis are going to be characterized by prolonged joint stiffness. So that's going to be something that's very typical of rheumatoid arthritis. So it takes them a while to get going, whereas osteoarthritis, they'll have momentary stiffness, but once they get moving, the stiffness goes away. They point out that the non-inflammatory arthritis tend to be aggravated by motion, relieved by rest, so osteoarthritis. And then they give you some other language to get used to. So monoarticular arthritis refers to arthritis of a single joint. Bulbar articular arthritis refers to arthritis in a few joints. And then polyarthritis refers to involvement of many joints. Okay? The reason it matters is because differential diagnosis and formulation is going to depend on how the patient presents. So, for example, patients have polyarthritis. They have inflammation of all the joints in their hands, all the joints in their feet. Septic arthritis doesn't sound like a really good choice to explain what's going on. And if they have monoarticular, if they have one joint that's red and hot and tender, like maybe a D or something, then you really do need to think about septic arthritis. Okay? Think about gout as well. So whether it's a single joint, or several joints, or multiple joints, makes a difference in terms of formulating the differential diagnosis. They talk about synovial fluid. What are the tools that you have to figure out what's going on in analysis of the synovial fluid? And I'm going to supplement a little bit what the book says on the top of page 165. So let's do that. They divide their discussion up into non-inflammatory, inflammatory, and septic. They are going to use 2,000, less than 2,000 as being non-inflammatory, less than 2,000 WBC, inflammatory is greater than 2,000, and then concern about infection or septic joint is greater than 100,000 WBC. It doesn't have to be that high though. There's going to be some overlap. Generally, a normal synovial fluid analysis going to have fewer than 200 WBC. Less than 25% of them will be poly. So there'll be other types of white cells in there, like lymphocytes, eosinophils, things like that. But less than 25% of what you see are going to be poly. Obviously, culture is going to be negative. Joint fluid has a high viscosity quality. Okay, it's supposed to actively lubricant, so viscosity is high. Its gross appearance is clear. You can have a hemorrhagic effusion. Remember what conditions can give rise to a hemorrhagic effusion? We talked about it a little bit. We didn't talk about it, but the book talked about it. So if you read it, you would have hemarthrosis. What conditions cause hemarthrosis? Blood report. Right? Rupture. Gunshot to the knee or something like that. Yes, yeah. So hemophilia. Hemophilia. A hemorrhagic fusion is going to appear bloody. The viscosity can be variable. Is the culture be positive or negative? It should be negative. Okay? And what you see in terms of cellular makeup depends on the amount of blood. Okay? So if you get significant amount of blood in the blood, then basically the white cell count is going to be the white cell count of the blood. Right? So you keep that in mind. If it's a bloody effusion and you got a lot of white cells there, but the white cell count, let's say the white cell count is making white cell count 10,000. Okay? And you got 10,000 white cells, so you might be thinking, wow, this is inflammatory. Maybe start to get to the point where I need to worry about sepsis. But if it's bloody, then that's the normal white cell count for the peripheral blood. If it's still in blood, I mean, it's less work. If it's infectious, if it's a septic joint, when you remove the fluid, is it going to be clear? No. The more white cells, the more purulent it is. So it's going to be turbid, it's going to be unclear. Again, the viscosity can be variable, but as the bacteria start working on those proteins and everything, it becomes less viscous. Culture is often positive, but almost by definition. The percentage of polymorphonucleosides, percentage of polyneutrophils is going to be very high, greater than 85%. And the WBC count can be anywhere from 5,000 to greater than 100,000. The higher that it is, the more likely it is to be infectious, but depending on when in the process you have the joint, you might not have 100,000. And then you have inflammatory conditions. So, for example, somebody that has rheumatoid arthritis involved in the joint. The fluid will be cloudy, viscosity will be low, cultures will be negative. They can have greater than 50% poly, and the white cells can be anywhere from 1,000 to 50,000. Non-inflammatory conditions, like for example, a flare of osteoarthritis. The fluid is generally clear, viscosity is high, culture is negative, white cells, percentage of PMNs and polymorphonucleosides that are present is going to be less than 25% of white cells present. So that looks normal, right? Non-inflammatory is going to have the same appearance as normal. And the white blood cell count can be anywhere from 200 to 1,000. So the only difference between non-inflammatory and normal is that you can see a mild increase in the number of white cells. Okay? That's pretty much the only difference you can see. Okay, rheumatoid arthritis. If you go back to page 126 and page figure 6.8, you'll see that it is listed along with systemic lupus erythematosus under the type 3 hypersensitivity. That's the mechanism. Book points out that as is true of many autoimmune diseases, it's more common in women and men, and you get symmetrical involvement of the joints of the hands and feet, so polyarticular arthritis. They point out that if you look at the hand, the joints that are generally spared, these might be involved in the distal of the bowel joint. And there are a couple of different things that people do. Okay, so you can actually this is market construction of the joint will be market involvement with the metatarsal bowel field joint here, involvement with the proximal bowel field joint, over deviation, radiography, okay, this is strictly rheumatoid arthritis. So, here's here's the formula. Okay, I guess people that use the push or whatever here. By force of doing that, they would develop this function of PIT and PIT. The patients that have rheumatoid arthritis develop the same thing, and then you have the spondylosis. The exact opposite. Okay. Again, the book talks about the presence of prolonged morning stiffness that greater than 30 minutes of differentiating in osteoarthritis is less than that. Again, it's more for inflammation and the importance of the presence of constitutional symptoms. You ask the patient that has rheumatoid arthritis, you ask them, if I cured your joint, do you feel normal? And they'll say no. No, I wouldn't. Okay? Whereas somebody that has just, that doesn't have a systemic disease, disease limited to the joint, they would say yes. This is my same thing on the front. That's the case with rheumatoid arthritis. They point out that it's a multi-system disease. The patients with rheumatoid arthritis develop advanced rigidity of inflammation of blood vessels. They can develop hematologic disorders like controlled systemic pulses, splenomegaly. They can develop pulmonary nodules, pleural effusion, again, from sinusitis, pericarditis, eye disease. And they can also develop something to catastrophic called mental axial subluxation. So patients have known severe rheumatoid arthritis. You need to be careful about forced extension flexion of the neck because it can cause subluxation. So if the atlas moves on the axis, okay, there's a problem with the odontoid process. You see that the spinal cord is at risk, and so the retroaxial subluxation is life-threatening and suffocating. The other thing that these people can get is they get ocular disease. And it's colitis. And so what you're seeing because of inflammation of the sclera, you're seeing thinning of the sclera. And so you're seeing the underlying, the blue stuff there, you're seeing the underlying, what is the choroid, I guess it is. And so that's again, that's a marker of the inflammation of the sclera. You can see that inflammation there that has to at that point. So ocular disease can also be seen in rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis is, they point out the most common cause of arthritis. Okay. So osteoarthritis is the most common cause of arthritis. The arthritis that is associated with wear and tear, aging. Their joint stiffness is research on the joint stiffness that we see in rheumatoid arthritis. And again, their complaints are limited to the joint. So if you fix their joint, they're happy. Some of the joints that are involved. They're involved in the joints with rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. Okay, so for example, you see the shoulders that are spared in osteoarthritis are affected with rheumatoid arthritis. The elbows, by the way, that's something a good thing to do on involvement of some of the hand joints, but the hand joints that are involved in osteoarthritis are different than the joints that are involved in rheumatoid arthritis. Okay, so patients that have problems with arthritis, the providence involved in the joints, okay, you almost like two little knobs there on each side of the joint line, and those little things are hemorrhaging. And then you can have proximal pathology as well, because those that are with short. Pretty well. There's evidence that again, this is rheumatoid arthritis, you expect to see really staring at these things. The other thing you don't really see this you do see deformity, but you don't see that absolutely disfiguring deformity the inflammatory muscle. And again, the metacarpal cells are unaffected. Okay. You want to take a break, or you want to finish? Let's take a rolling break at the end. What do you want to do? Take a rolling break at the end. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we'll finish up, and then okay. The next topic that they take up is spinal arthritis. So these diseases are referred to as the seronegative spinal arthropathy. You can also look at so after we stop, there's an announcement about Project C. Okay. All right. So these are referred to as seronegative spinal arthropathy. So they're referred to as seronegative because they're negative for rheumatoid factor. Okay. One of the markers of rheumatoid arthritis, as you'll see when you do the reading, is that they generally are positive for rheumatoid factor. Let me just put that up for a second. Okay, so remember I showed you the ARA criteria for lupus erythematosus. These are the ARA criteria for rheumatoid arthritis. So you see, for patients that have rheumatoid arthritis, he or she is attacked by at least 4 following criteria. One people morning sickness, and they're saying here lasting at least an hour before maximal improvement. Okay? So for the purposes of the test, the book says a half hour, we should say a half hour. Okay, we see that for their purposes, now is probably a more reliable number than something else. Arthritis of 3 major joint areas, with soft tissue swelling fluid, and then they look at joint areas that these criteria, PIC joints, key joints, wrists, elbows, knees, ankles, and that's called the solid view. Okay? Arthritis of the hand joint, symmetric arthritis, rheumatoid nodules, subcutaneous nodules. And you can also have nodules in the lungs, serum rheumatoid factor. Demonstration of abnormal amount of serum rheumatoid factor by any mechanism results as a positive for 2 to 5 rheumatoid. And then reading rapid changes in the joint. Remember, rheumatoid nodules can be present in the skin, but they can also have nodules in the lungs. be a hard one to give you on the test because you might look at this and say, well, how do I know that these aren't hemorrhage nodes and these aren't Bouchard stones? Okay, so, but apparently they're telling us these are rheumatoid nodes. These don't look like hemorrhage nodes because hemorrhage nodes generally are they're basically related to the underlying bone, that's bony hypertrophy. You can see that these look like they are not necessarily related to the underlying bone, especially this one here, right? This is bizarre here. So, and again, you look for other things that make that make but anyway, so we were talking about seronegative spondyloarthropathy, so we said that seronegative spondyloarthropathy are negative for rheumatoid factor, so they don't have a rheumatoid factor. And the spondyloarthropathy means that the spine is involved. Okay? So these are arthritides that involve the spine and that rheumatoid factor is negative. Okay? And the spondyloarthropathies include Reiter syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease associated arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, and ankylosing spondylitis. Okay? So Reiter syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease associated arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, and ankylosing spondylitis. Besides just the inflammation of the spine, they can also develop peripheral arthritis. It doesn't have to be just the spine. They can develop arthritis elsewhere. Okay, so in psoriatic arthritis, they develop the so-called soft tissue. And the other thing to keep in mind about psoriatic arthritis is that patients that have psoriatic arthritis often have associated nail changes. You can see soft tissue. Sort of looks like a soft tissue, okay? And I'm going to show you that patients that have psoriasis often have associated nail shedding. So you should look at the nails of the patient who has arthritis to see if they have shedding. That would be important to say the precept that you look for. And either found it or didn't. You don't want it. He finds it. He's going to feel cool. They can have associated ocular disease. We talked about the colitis. They can have associated cardiovascular disease. Some of these diseases are associated with aortic valve disease, aortic suspicion. Again, we talked about ankylosing spondylitis, Reiter syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease associated with arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, and they discuss these diseases in figure 82. Reiter's arthritis or Reiter syndrome is generally going to appear several weeks after the appearance of a genitourinary or GI infection. Remember, we saw that also with hemolytic uremic syndrome. Remember that? Hemolytic uremic syndrome, I talked about sometimes see that in the aftermath of an infectious disease. Not surprising, getting an infectious disease, getting production of have an antigen, that infection base is an antigen. If you get antigen antibody complex, And again, these diseases can be associated with aortic disease, pure negative spinal arthritis. Okay. The infectious arthritis. It's important. The reason infectious arthritis matters, it matters for a lot of reasons. One of the reasons it matters is that if it's not promptly diagnosed, infectious arthritis can destroy the joint. So the diagnosis has to be made expeditiously, and treatment has to be instituted expeditiously. So if you make a diagnosis of septic arthritis, you have to treat with an antibiotic that's effective. The joint maybe has to be laved. You have to get all that pus and that bacterial stuff out of there. You might have to inject antimicrobial to the joint. If you have a septic joint, you probably want you probably want a rheumatologist on the case. You don't want the joint to be destroyed because that's bad for the patient and bad for you. So often you want to make that diagnosis proper. The agents that cause infectious arthritis are either gonococcal or non-gonococcal. Gonococcal arthritis generally spreads through the joints hematogenously from the cervix, or the urethra, or the rectum, or the pharynx, depending on how the person is infected. And non-gonococcal infectious arthritis is usually staph aureus. Usually monoarticular, what we talked about, the number of joints involved before. They generally have a compressed fever. And we said that when you tap the synovial fluid, it's likely to be cloudy, turbid. Culture is likely to be positive. Gram stain too, right? You want to do the gram stain, you get the results right away. There's going to be a high proportion of polys, greater than 85% polys, and the white cells could be generally greater than 100,000, but really anywhere from 5,000 to 100,000, depending on when you get them in the course of the disease. We point out that the differential diagnosis most often involves monoarticular arthritis, a single hot joint. Differential diagnosis involves in crystal-induced arthritis like gout or infectious arthritis. Okay? Just keep in mind that patients that have abnormal joints because of gout can also develop infectious arthritis on top of that. Okay, so bacteria are more likely to feed and to take hold of joints that are defective to begin with. Right? So you could have somebody that has both. We talked about Lyme disease as an infectious arthritis. I just wanted to figure out how you would talk about that. It's a little bit different. It's not quite the same thing. You can think of Lyme disease the same way you think about syphilis. There's a lot of parallels between Lyme disease and syphilis. There's primary, secondary, tertiary. Lyme disease is caused by a spirochete, like syphilis is, and it can produce, also produces a sentinel rash called erythema chronica migrans. And they point out that it can progress to chronic arthritis really like the microscope that we talked about with patho and non-patho. They talk about it here because it's an arthritis and it is caused by infectious disease. The erythema chronic migraine is often a sign of disease, and it affects about three-quarters of patients, anywhere between 3 and 33 days after the treatment. And the arthritis that patients develop, the chronic arthritis that patients develop, Lyme arthritis, is okay? Any questions? Anybody have questions? Anybody, just let me know. The arthritis that they develop is characterized by intermittent attacks of oligo-articular arthritis in the large joints, which last weeks to months. And the recurrences of the arthritic attacks decrease yearly. The arthritis tends to grow itself. See if I have a picture of something. So there's something that has Lyme arthritis. We get that in the large joint, and it's oligo. The treatment of Lyme arthritis is 30 to 60 days of oral antibiotics. Apparently, once you test the joint fluid for the Borrelia burgdorferi DNA. The differential diagnosis of the acute infectious arthritis, so the gonococcal or non-gonococcal arthritis, is going to include the crystal-induced arthritis, or gout, pseudogout. Gout is caused by uric acid crystals. And so typically takes it to the nodular, which is the involvement of the big toe right here at the base of the big toe. The back is classical way that gout presents. You can see what's happening here is that